All right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 51, and we're getting into Karbach Brewing Company's Cerveza Especial.
Cerveza Especial. Yeah,
Yeah, see, my friend.
th this is one of those ones that like we saw. It's fairly newer for Karbach. I know you're going to get into the stats in a minute, but fairly new for Karbach. Hasn't been around forever. And when the commercials came out, I was like, obviously their play on the Mexican cerveza, but
hmm
what would it hold?
Yeah,
So we've been wanting to do this one for a little while. So the timing of this one was basically convenience. I think we could have planned it maybe slightly different, but yeah, nonetheless, we've been wanting to try this one.
yeah, we kind of, we're about a month early on the Mexican celebration beer, but like you said, we were pretty excited to try this one. I've been looking forward to it. So saw it at the store, said, "Let's do it." I'm
To which
ready.
the real celebration were many, many months ahead, but at least the artificial celebration of May the 5th, we're still slightly above that as well.
You can never celebrate too early, right? Or
Never.
too
In
late,
fact,
maybe.
well, in fact, that's the argument I'll make about independence is you should celebrate every day because that's the day that marks it, but really the celebration should be every minute of every hour of every
Yeah.
day.
So really, we're not celebrating early at all. We're celebrating on time.
We're celebrating conveniently.
hmm
Dude, so one thing I'm gonna call out, so very thick head, I did a top pour, but such a golden color. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't this is way off topic, but do you remember I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Tombstone. I assume everybody has, but yeah, I just
I
assume
mean,
everybody does.
I have.
Okay. Well, when they're in the theater and they're trying to get the light to change, he takes that bottle of whiskey and he's like rubbing it in front of the light so that like the it changes the color of the shade on the performers.
Yeah.
This is what I think of in regards to that color.
hmm
Like it's that perfect, it's almost like a very light, classy whiskey color.
You know what I
Perfect
think
for what
of
I
when I see that
what
color? Urine.
like a rich
Like
had a
a
bunch of beers the night before urine.
yeah,
Yeah.
very dehydrated urine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But but I mean, you get in or you get out what you put in kind of thing, maybe. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you drink water, it comes out clear. You drink beer, it comes out beer. So
It's a beautiful color though.
it
I'm
is.
gonna
It's a very nice color.
also too for me when I think cerveza, it's all about the smell of the.
hmm Does it smell like a Mexican beach? That's what.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Well, I can't really get myself in here into the smell.
I don't want to dip my nose in it, but yeah, it doesn't
It,
smell quite as pungent as a. In the can, it
I don't
does a
know,
little
dude. In
bit.
the can, it smells like it smells legit.
Yeah, the can does. It's got like that. Not. It's got like that. I'm gonna call it like the stickiness of not stale beer, but like warm hot beer. Anyway, I don't know what it's gonna
It
taste like out
smells
of the
like a
glass.
bar. It smells like a bar.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what it
like
smells
there's a
like.
surface in proximity. There's a surface that's sticky with some type of substance that probably at one point was a beer.
hmm
That's what Mexican cerveza screams to me.
Yes. So
Here
this
we go.
thing is coming in at 4.5% ABV and 10 IBUs.
Oh man, hold on. Okay, real quick. I'm gonna gut check that just so that I'm gonna can check that just so that we keep up with our being on point with that. But I already have my YYB or yeah, YYBD,
WWYBD.
WWYBD. Yep,
Ooh.
easy.
Ooh.
And it's
Oh.
not what you. It doesn't really fit the beer
Mm.
at all, but um, it's gonna be spot
Oh.
on for me. Do you have yours?
Oh. No, I don't yet. I'm
That's,
still I'm still blown away right now. This is
dude,
very delicious.
that is phenomenal. And it I know I can't remember the orale. Yeah, I
Mm.
don't want to like reference back to that, but we were a little disappointed in the cerveza delivery of that. This is phenomenal.
This is incredible for a craft brewery.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, it's a great Mexican style lager, but the fact that it's a craft brewery Mexican style
One thing
lager.
The other thing I'm going to point out about it is, you know how we always talk about that crafty element that's always there. I know this is going to sound bad. I don't get it here,
No,
but if we did get it here, it wouldn't be a cerveza. Does that make sense?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like it's blowing my mind that this is a craft. brewery that's put this out.
It's almost like they said for the sake of preserving what a cerveza is,
Mhm.
especially if we're going to put especial underneath it in gold, then we need to
In
stay true to cerveza, and that means we have to remove all craft notes.
Yeah, in gold cursive cursive lettering. I'm struggling today. This is only I have not had any beers today, so you know
You should overlay like a definition of letting, and just so everyone understands what the fuck that is.
I don't know what it is, but I could try to do that. Yeah, I mean branding wise, I think as well. We were kind of talking about it a little bit, just how it's just the most generic Modelo
Yeah.
beer label. And I mean that's not a horrible thing, but it's not creative. You know what I mean? Like a for a craft brewery at least.
No, I know. And in fact, we've mentioned this multiple times, but like that was what the draw was to Crawford Bach. We thought it was all going to be marketing, ended up being a phenomenal beer. When I look
Hmm.
at this, I think, oh man, you're really just piggybacking for obvious reasons off of somebody else's branding. But I
Yeah.
think the contents and what's inside I enjoy a lot more than the other Especial.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, because this has a lot
Hmm.
more depth, flavor. It builds. There's a lot more characteristics. I feel like the other Especial it's just become another generic light beer that's that's flavorless in my opinion compared to this, I think.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
to each his own. You can have
I
your opinion.
I like
It's
to.
irrelevant and it's wrong, but nonetheless, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I do. It's always funny to me. Like, I see it mostly on these Cerveza style beers or what cans and stuff. The different kind of not logos, but like the different things they draw on it, right? Like up
Hmm.
there by the K on the can, where there's
Yeah.
like this floral design. It just for some reason always reminds me of a Mexican dude in boots. Like that's what's on his boots. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah,
I
just a
always
nice
think of.
for those that can't see the can, I guess we should. I mean, I know it's going to be posted on the thing, but it's like barley or malt.
Yeah, in
But
this
yeah, like
case.
he would have that stitched in gold in the
Yeah.
uppers of his boot. Yeah,
Yeah, or it's like engraved on a pistol, that
yeah.
someone has like on the handle of the pistol.
The gold toe cap on his boot would be this color.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a mix between brass and honestly, that speaks to the color of the beer too. But a mix between brass and gold, that like patinaed gold that has that brass impression.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the stats. I'm sorry. 4.5 is what you said on the
Yeah.
alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're looking at 10 IBUs.
Yes.
That's spot on. I actually like the fact that Karbach includes that.
Yeah.
They kind of have like it's not a nutrition fact, obviously, but on the side of the can, they have first off, recycle, damn it. Thank you for being responsible.
Yeah.
Secondly, 4.5 alcohol per volume. 10, then they go to IBUs, then the type of, I mean, sorry, the size of the can, and then the type of beer. The other thing I think that's funny is how they label, and I don't know if this is a legal requirement, but they label like you'll see like some are malt liquors, some will just say beer, and this one says more than beer because they have to label it as a beer, but they want to,
Oh.
build on the fact that it's more than beer.
Yeah. Well, it's a Mexican beer, so they
Oh
should
yeah.
have just put that on this one. But I realize that's for all of their beers. I do like the colors that they chose, though.
Hmm.
It's a very classy color scheme. You know?
And it's simple compared to, I mean, think about like Love Street. Think about, I mean, Crawford for obvious reasons is kind of over the top, but they do a Hopadillo, right?
Yeah.
A lot of those. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I was trying to think of like the different iterations of the can, but that's pretty flashy. This is probably their most conservatively reserved marketing campaign.
Yeah. It's a clean, sleek design, so I give them that.
You know what it's almost like the version 2.0 of the can just saying beer. I mean,
Yeah.
it basically does because it's cerveza,
It
right? Meaning beer,
literally
but
says special beer.
yeah, basically special beer, and so they kept it kind of clean, neat. I think it's cool that they go with. I mean, again, for very simple purposes, like it's inspired by Mexico, which does come through. Brewed in Texas, it's their play on the Especial.
Do you think there's a craft brewery in Mexico that just has
I,
a beer released that's just called beer?
Possibly, and it's like a Lone Star ripoff. It's just
Yeah,
trash Texas beer
yeah,
in a can.
yeah.
It's like Mexican brewed, but Texas inspired, and it's just their play on natties or something.
Una Estrella,
Estrella.
Una
Oh yeah.
Estrella,
Well, I mean
Lone
the
Star.
Estrella. Yeah, Una Estrella. Yeah, but they have the Estrella Jalisco, which is not one of my favorite of the cervezas. I enjoy this a lot more. I wouldn't say this beats some like Mexican lagers that I really, really enjoy. But like our play on it, craft style, via somebody close to home, dude, they're killing it.
Yeah, it's very delicious. It's interesting to think about if there's this Mexican craft brewery that's doing that though, because if there's not, they should, and they should sell all their beer right by the Texas border. It would make absolute bank, I bet.
Oh yeah.
You're just bringing in a can that's just like randomly designed in a red, white, and blue, just random things, just red, white, and blue colors, and it's just titled American beer. That's it, dude. It would make so
Beer.
much.
And then what if it just said non-especial? Especial, no. Just regular.
Non-special. Just,
Non-special beer.
oh man. Whew, that'd be good. We need to make that happen. We got so many
Yeah.
ideas, bro. We just need someone to, make it all happen and give us money for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably take a very small percentage just for the idea. I know there's a lot of folks out there that like have these epic ideas and then they invest all this stuff in it and then it becomes awesome. But like, I'm fine being the guy that's like on page 2 of the Wikipedia. Like, I don't need to be right up
Yeah.
top, you know. I just need to have one little spot. Like in you know how Wikipedia has like the little nutrition facts is what I'm going to call them at the very
Yeah.
top. It's like this is the date, this is who it founded. Like especially when you like look up a band, this is like current members and then past members or whatever. I just want to be like one little snippet in that little, Wikipedia nutrition facts that has to deal with some badass idea that takes off.
Yeah. That you want them to have to click on the website, not
Yeah,
just view the Google
that's
thing.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I feel you. If anyone ever Googles my name in the future, that's how I would want it to. I just want, me to come up and it just say involved in numerous different idea creating moments.
Yeah, I mean that's basically all I'm good for.
And
That
when
rambling.
yeah, and when they click on that part, it's just gonna pull up a page and there's gonna be a bunch of BS, and then at the bottom it's gonna have like the 10 things that I thought of that were great for society.
Dude, what if there were like stats? Like what if like, every sport, right, has like a ridiculous, especially like baseball, right? Like with runners in scoring position on a Saturday, if you're north of the Mason-Dixon line and you're in the batting fifth and
And
you ate a
two
chili
two
dog
count.
more than 48 hours ago, like this is where the ball's going to go, right? I
Hmm.
wonder if like somewhere we could start just like regular human being stats. And they were like inefficient parks this month. Stefan's coming in with 43. He touched the line twice, picking a shopping cart where one of the wheels didn't work. He's got 6 of those over the past 6 months. He's batting 1,000 month over month, considering he only visits the grocery store twice a month. That's 500. I mean, that's pretty solid on picking one with a shitty wheel.
Yeah.
Simple stats like that, I think would really be a cool website where people could go and just be like, Google their name and it have shitty stats. Like you could punch them in and upload.
Simplestats.com.
Yeah.
Simplestats.com.
Lifestats.com. And it's just like, how many times did you select the wrong button on the elevator in the past decade?
Listen,
You know what I mean?
Big Brother's watching us anyways. Let's make it fun at least. You know what I mean?
Dude, it would be hilarious.
Keep tabs on me all the time. I don't care. You
I
know what I
also
mean?
think it would be absolutely outrageous to have an SB type situation based on life stats that people just attended, but there was no one famous there. It's just
Just a
like
bunch of regular people.
straight up. Did you see who won the SB for curb checks in a vehicle with aftermarket rims? And people are like, absolutely
No.
not. And they're like, oh, and they say a name, and you're like, I don't know who that is. And you're like, that's the point, because it's just a life stat.
Yeah. I was gonna say Chad something, and then all I thought of was Chad Krager. So I
Yeah.
couldn't say that.
I mean, as of late, he's just an average Joe. So,
Well,
which I think is what makes him
so,
so great.
yeah. And I mean,
Dude,
celebrities could be
okay,
involved on that. You know what I mean?
hey, real quick. I like the way that you had so many positive things to say about Chad Kroger that you like mumbled that and digested that before it came out of your mouth. Like I saw that you were like, I want to go along with what Stefan's saying that he's a normal person, but I firmly believe that he's far superior to a normal person. But I'm going to swallow my words, and you swallowed them out loud as you were saying it. So
I did. It was a pretty loud swallow.
thank you for respecting the Krog, if you will. That's what I'm just going to dub him. He's probably cool with it because he doesn't give a shit what people think of him.
No, he doesn't at all. That's what makes him
No.
so great. You know,
Uh-huh.
he's winning
My
that
bad.
SB. You know what I mean? That is a pretty cool idea, though. It'd be fun to set up your own fantasy leagues with your buddies.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
like you know, you could easily work towards a specific stat, but I think if they're just happening organically, that's part of it. It's like people work towards them, but organically this is what was achieved, you know.
Yeah.
I don't
Hmm.
know. I think it's interesting. You could go in, put in your own stats, you could have fantasy. Also it'd be very
Well,
interesting to
if we
see
had to
like
put in our own stats, people would be lying about it. You know,
yeah,
they'd be saying, "No, I didn't get a shopping cart with a bad wheel today." You know, and when they clearly did.
that just sounds like denial.
Well, that's what people would do it to boost their stats, bro. I'm telling you.
You know,
The
that's
Big
human
Brother's got to
nature.
be watching. Big Brother has to be watching and doing it himself.
Maybe you could be part of like an experiment, like back in the day when Google was like, "Hey, we want to start tracking where people go," and all these people were like, "Yeah, as long as I get something free." And then now they log back in and they're like, "You've seen every hotel I've ever been in my the past 10 years," and it's creepy. And you're like, "Yeah, you flip." Google's like, "Yeah, bud, didn't you remember flipping that switch when you were trying to get $10 off on a
Yeah.
freaking software package?"
You remember signing into that one hotel Wi-Fi that one time? That gave us permission to do everything.
Yep. So we're gonna need that firstborn child when he comes out, please.
Yeah. You didn't read the terms and conditions? No, I just clicked OK. Idiot. Should have
Idiot.
read them. Should have read them. Ugh.
Idiota. But anyways, back to the Karbach Cerveza. Was there anything else you wanted to include? Because I know we've done maybe a Karbach or two. I'm sure that you guys have done a bunch on the podcast thus far. Local to home, toes the line on craft brewery because they,
Yeah,
did
technically they did
technically.
sell out,
Hmm.
um, but I still consider them craft because their stuff doesn't get out very far. Considering,
I think they
um,
keep a certain amount of independence too, because I mean, if I know
mhm.
this is a phenomenal beer, and obviously whoever was the decision maker on going public with it made a solid decision, and that could have factored into why they released it or whatever. But it still seems that they have a little bit of flexibility in what they create and their approach to things.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder, like selling out it was Anheuser Busch, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So did they do it for distribution reasons? I don't know.
So I really haven't. I don't know. I mean, because I travel a lot. It's not it is becoming more and more prevalent, like in like Dallas, the Panhandle, out west, San Antonio, where I think maybe there were some pockets before where it wasn't getting out to, but I really haven't checked much outside of like um I haven't really looked for it like far away. Like I don't think I've genuinely looked for it in like Oklahoma or like Kansas, Colorado, Louisiana. I just haven't looked for it. But like I don't know if it's making it to like Connecticut. Like Bud Light's everywhere, or Budweiser. All Anheuser-Busch products are everywhere in the world. I don't know if Carbach's making it to like, Idaho or something. I don't know. I haven't checked.
Yeah, I would
I should
imagine
start checking.
not. I would imagine not, but I mean more or less like locally, right? Because there's Budweiser. I don't know if you call them breweries or whatever, like in the Houston area, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're shipping their stuff all around the Houston area. So I wonder if like Carbach was just piggybacking off of that distribution, and then they were just like, hey, you know what? We're just gonna buy you. How about that?
I would
You know?
imagine I would imagine, it's for
Mhm.
resources, bottom line, but I would imagine that, you know, Karbach wasn't suffering. Karbach wasn't struggling by any means. And
Oh no.
they probably were just like, hey, let's leverage a supply chain that's infinite. Like, let's leverage a distribution channel that is owned by the entity that's also manufacturing, right? Because there's a lot of distributors that don't manufacture. Bud Light has both, or excuse me, Anheuser-Busch, excuse me, has both. Like, they manufacture and distribute, but they also have sub distribution as well, right?
Mm,
So yeah, that's probably the answer. Like, you answered your own question. They probably leveraged them just for expansion, and maybe their intent wasn't outside of Texas, but it was like, hey, let's start dabbling in the Dallas market. Let's start dabbling out in
yeah.
San Antonio where we don't have a presence. Um, I wonder how far it goes, but I get shocked all the time that, like, dude, I've found Shiner in Ohio. Like, I've had Shiner in Minnesota.
That's weird because you can't really find anything in Ohio
Nope. They're scratching
except for
out
like the Rock
on
and Roll Hall of Fame.
drug addictions. You
Okay.
know, there's a lot of things in Ohio that we probably don't want to find, but we do.
Okay.
Spaghetti noodles with chili on top.
Oh, they do
It's
that?
actually, oh, it's actually phenomenal. I joke a little bit, but it is actually really, really great. It's called like Hotline chili or
I mean,
Cincinnati chili or something like
that's
that.
kind of like meat sauce,
I know it
spaghetti and
seems
meat
like that.
sauce.
I think it has beans in it, if I remember correctly. So it's not
Mm,
technically a chili, but I'm not even going to go down that boat. We're not going to fight that fight right now. Anyways, yeah, they're
yes.
dumping it over spaghetti noodles. It is really great. They have the Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's in Ohio too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm. Wow.
Akron, I believe. Akron or Canton. I
It's
think it's
really weird to
Akron,
me that
Ohio.
that's not in like New York or L.A. or something.
Uh, man, Ohio, believe it or not, I know that we're way off topic, not related to Karbach, Cerveza, or any of the whatever. But Ohio actually does have, I mean, it's to me, it's like a staple of the Midwest. And a lot of working class folks there. That's why I think that the Football Hall of Fame is there and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because if you think about football in itself and you think about rock and roll in itself, they're all built, supported, boosted, and supplied and sustained by that working class. I didn't mean to get that heartfelt, but that's true.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mm.
I can give you that. It's
Oh,
just weird to me that it's like because the NFL is out of New York, isn't it?
I have no idea. I was gonna say hats off to Ohio, but I wouldn't lift my hat to Ohio. I still want to put them in their place, but anyways, continue. New York, I don't know. I have no idea.
Anyways, it's just weird to me that like the Hall of Fame of that. I mean, rock and roll, obviously. I don't know why Ohio. It just seems like really odd that it's just kind of in the middle of the Midwest, like But the Football Hall of Fame, I'm like, why would you not just have that where your company is based out of? But I don't know. Whatever. I'm not the one running it. Multi-billion-dollar industry, so
I
obviously they're making the
digress.
right decisions somewhere. So
Anywho, so I maybe not related directly to these delicious cervezas. I think everybody already knows at this point that if I have half-ass anything positive to say this early on, that we're headed down a good pathway, both in rating, WWYBD. Um, anyway, um, but seasonally. So this will have launched probably a couple of days after Easter. However, I think it's great that we maybe do a little chat about seasonally Easter. It's one of my favorite holidays. In
really,
fact, I would say it's probably, oh yeah, for sure. We never talked about this.
no, I don't think so.
Oh, dude, I would say Easter. Um, so first off, we did talk a little bit during like Christmas time. I don't like gift giving holidays.
Right.
I don't like the pressure of that. I don't like the atmosphere that it creates. Not just because
Well,
I'm a terrible gift giver,
the
but also,
expectation. It's the
well,
expectation it creates too.
I just think the hat I'm sure a lot of people are, but like the happiness that is fueled by a gift giving holiday does not compare to the enjoyment or happiness of a holiday that demands no gifts. It's
Yeah.
weird to think about, but I'm gonna walk you down this path. So number one for me is Thanksgiving. Um, but number two is Easter, and they toe the line right away, right close to each other. We're going to get into why as we talk a little more about Easter. But yeah, dude, this is one of my favorite seasonal holidays. Think about it. I mean, at least in Texas, like the weather's starting to not be cold, which I don't enjoy, but it's not quite just hellaciously warm at this point. There's no need to give gift. Um, I know this is gonna sound really taboo, but like I like um days before a rain or days after a rain. And historically, it's always raining like a couple of days before, storming in the case of this year, or a couple of days after. So you're on the verge of that like calm before the storm. Sometimes you get like I know many times we've gotten up Easter morning and just smelled the rain and being like, damn, we're gonna get rained on today, you know? And you know it's gonna suck once it gets here, but like that little calm, comfort nap mentality that's in the air before the rain hits, dude, there's no holiday in
Mm.
the world like that.
You know
Plus I
what?
love eggs.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But yeah, that's
yeah.
we'll get there.
You know what what I remember when I think of Easter, like waking up on Easter day on Easter Sunday or whatever, fresh cut grass.
Fresh cut grass, ant bites though, I will say. It seems like I'm always stumbling into an ant pile. And maybe
But
that's because it's fresh rain, but go ahead.
it's like fresh cut grass though, but with that like morning dew. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like all the clippings are wet. You know what I
Yep.
mean? A little bit. I don't know why, but I always think of that. And you know what? I think it actually is because I had mowed, because we spent Easter at our grandparents pretty much every year growing up. Um, and a couple of times I went over and mowed the lawn for them. And I think
Correct.
that's what it was. I think that's why
It's
it's ingrained in my brain that way.
It's that too, and like I can't remember an entire time, like even as an adult going around with, the kids, like I can't think of a single time where I've hunted eggs where when you pick it up, like maybe not a plastic egg, but even I would say even so this fits, but like when you pick up the egg, like the shell of the egg has a sweat on it, like a
Yeah.
condensate because of the volume of moisture. It's not raining, but at any moment there's so much humidity and in the air, a comfortable humidity because again, it's not a billion degrees yet. But there's a comfortable humidity that stays in the air that keeps the surface of that egg wet. Like I'll never remember. And then obviously for us, like they would bleed in the basket, and you got it on your clothes,
Oh yeah.
and you're trying to peel that sucker, and it's all bled everywhere. It's just disgust. I mean, it's a gross concept to think of, but that to me speaks Easter, and that's what I remember the most, all the way throughout.
Yeah. What's also gross about that is the fact that like, right, we hid plastic eggs, right? And
Hmm.
and you hunt plastic eggs that have gifts in them or whatever. It may be some were empty, some weren't, whatever. But there was also a handful of actual hard-boiled eggs
Hmm.
with the shell on it that had been dyed that you set out and you find and then you eventually eat.
Yeah,
we
it's
just we're
it's
just
weird.
setting this food outside, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's in a shell, I'll give you that, but like we're setting it outside for God knows what insects to run over it, right? What things to touch it, land on it, and then it just sits in the dirt or grass, whatever, or wherever you hide it. And you send your kids out.
exhaust pipe maybe.
Yeah,
Exhaust pipe.
exhaust pipes, drainage pipe off the house,
Yeah,
whatever, wherever you can find that's hard to find.
gutter,
Yeah,
septic line, whatever.
gutter hidden in the mower somewhere, probably near a blade. No big deal.
Bucket
Uh,
of water. Just yeah,
just mosquito infested, obviously, down at the
whatever.
bottom. And we're just pulling it out, ripping the shell off, and eating that boiled egg because who's not going to eat a boiled egg?
I agree. I have robbed many out of, especially as I've gotten older, maybe not so much as a kid, but robbed many out of somebody else's basket. And you don't know where that kid got it, what he drug it through, what he touched it with. Has it crushed? You don't know.
But it doesn't matter because it has a natural protector. It's like a natural condom, really.
It does. It does. But also, what's real trippy if you think about it is sometimes when you open them up and they're dyed on the inside and you're like, fuck it, and you eat it anyway, that's a pretty good indicator that that natural condom that it was born with,
Had a hole in
not
it.
intact, not intact.
Yeah.
So just keep
Yeah,
that in mind.
that's true. I never thought
It
about
doesn't
that.
deter anyone. It doesn't deter anyone,
No,
but
you open it up, there's a little bit of blue dye on your egg. No one really cares. Unless
yeah,
you're
we got a
allergic to
bunch.
blue number 6 or whatever it is, then you don't mess with
Yeah.
it.
we've got some that we're gonna dye tomorrow morning, just so there's some real ones in rotation.
Mm.
Um, because I mean, like if I think, I mean, like there's a lot. Like again, we're gonna get into it. There's a lot of things Easter driven, which make it my favorite holiday. Even outside of like the gift giving piece, everybody's just happy. Seasonally, it's the best time in my opinion. But on the food front, there's some things that are kind of unique. Like first off, it's socially acceptable to just eat a hard boiled egg. Like you're not really doing that at any other holiday. Okay. Secondly,
Do you?
deviled eggs.
uh,
Deviled eggs are acceptable everywhere, but like, dude, you can double down on some deviled eggs tomorrow, dude,
Yeah,
and nobody's gonna
it's
raise a
true.
finger. They're like, "Why did he eat a dozen deviled eggs?" And everybody's gonna go, "Because
It's
we had all these
Easter,
eggs that were
bro. It
boiled."
was
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
Easter. Why not? What are you not gonna eat a dozen deviled eggs?
The egg at Easter is the gravy of Thanksgiving, if we really want to be honest. You know what I mean?
I got two things.
Yeah, go ahead.
First I need to ask you
Send it.
why, not that you necessarily know because you created it or anything, but why an egg? Why is it an egg?
I don't know.
And
I
why
mean,
is it the
why?
Easter bunny and he's hiding eggs?
I think I'm gonna work under this assumption. They probably were like, all right, listen, so we've got a religious holiday that wait, Christmas we have, old Saint Nick, he's tied in, he's doing his thing. Thanksgiving, again, not necessarily a religious holiday per se, but we've got, their mascots. They got to Easter and they were like, okay, what could we do for those that aren't really tied into maybe the religious piece? What can we do to like keep them entertained and draw them into maybe the religious piece of it? And they were just like, yeah, bunny rabbit and an egg.
Bunny rabbit
That didn't really
delivering
that didn't really
eggs.
that didn't really answer your question. Google will, I'm sure. I don't know the answer to that
It's just
because it
because it's
doesn't
just
make any sense. If anything, it should be a massive chicken,
that's what I'm
right?
saying. What? Or like maybe instead of delivering eggs, you should deliver carrots. You know what I mean?
Just something.
Let's
Or
bring this together a little bit. Let's not be too wild, you know?
yeah, I don't know what else a bunny rabbit would give us.
Carrots,
Um,
man. Cabbage.
Phenomenal jerky. I don't know if you've ever had rabbit jerky, but it is killer,
No,
dude.
I haven't. That would be pretty odd to celebrate an animal and then eat them on the same holiday, though.
Oh, really? You mean like Thanksgiving?
We don't really celebrate the animal though.
We don't really celebrate the Easter bunny either. He's just kind of there. If anything,
This is
he's
fair.
just a he's just a passerby
A,
at the party.
a creepy filler. Because let's be honest, the Easter Bunny's creepy. If you've ever seen the Santa Claus movies, the Easter Bunny in those movies is creepy.
Hey, by the way, you're correct. Or like all of the pictures that historically were the Easter Bunny. No way. I mean, no reason. I mean, no wonder that all of the kids were fucking paranoid.
Yeah.
So the answer to this is going to be super super simple, and when I say it out loud, you're going to be like, "Oh shit, duh." Eggs represent new life and rebirth.
Okay. What about the bunny though?
Okay, so I don't know. Let me look at that in a minute. And it's thought that this ancient custom became a part of Easter celebrations. In the medieval period, eating eggs was forbidden during Lent, the 40 days before Easter. So on Easter Sunday, tucking into an egg was a real treat,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay. Well, that's fair.
Um, okay, why Easter Bunny?
Yeah, and while we're on the topic of eggs still, before you switch over, it brings me to my second point of
Yep.
do we think that Easter is the gassiest holiday of all year?
Mm,
So a lot of eggs being consumed.
yeah, you're right. I'm gonna say maybe the potency of the gas, but overall gas production. I mean, does Saint Patrick's Day count
Oh yeah.
as a holiday? Okay, well then I'm gonna say like
You think the beer farts are
just
worse than the egg farts?
by volume, probably more created.
Well, because
Even though
here
this probably
because
go
consider
ahead.
this, there's a population of people that don't eat eggs, right? I don't know what that population is. I don't know the
Yeah.
percentage, but there's a population of children that are not allowed to drink beer,
Yeah, I know. So I thought about
right?
that. It's like, are the volume of people that really hate eggs, does that far outpace those that are unable to drink beer? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I know how my body performs under both capacities,
Yeah.
and one might have, one might have more bite to the bark, but one's going to be a lot more barky.
But
Okay.
one's gonna be loud, or one's gonna be barking all day.
Hey, so
The other's just gonna be loud.
this is super interesting, and it's a definitive answer to your question, and it leads me to the next thing that now I can say makes more sense than I have been saying is outrageous over the past, I don't know, 13 years, 14 years that I've been with my wife, right? So, according to some sources, the Easter Bunny first arrived in America in the 1700s with German immigrants who settled in Pennsylvania, and they transported the tradition of an egg-laying hare called Osterhase or Osterhase. Their children made nests in which the creature could lay its colored eggs.
Ah, so there is a mythical egg-laying creature
It is a bunny rabbit. No,
that's
it's
a
not it's not a
bunny,
creature. It's a hare. It's a hare
a
that's mythical.
mythical egg-laying bunny.
Yes,
That's what the Easter Bunny is based off of.
correct. And
Interesting.
so
Okay.
it ties into the long-standing tradition of the egg meaning new life, and a rebirth. But now there's a rabbit that's bringing them because it lays eggs for some reason.
If I had a good German accent, I would apply it to this, but basically the Germans came in and they said, "We have a way to make the children more interested."
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Salute.
because
Well, maybe I should not even say,
well,
well, it already broke. You know what I mean? I don't mean that in
tread
a bad
lightly.
way. I don't mean that in a bad way.
It's all about how you're saluting. I would tread lightly on the way the
Yeah,
salute is. But
right, right.
um but so this brings me to a good point. So we never did this growing up. Like we hunted eggs, we dyed eggs, we ate eggs.
Hmm. I had a
We
hell of
had
a
to
shot
eat
on me for those eggs.
shot.
We're hunting them, bro.
Oh, I got you. We're all just gonna let that one pass. That we could have done without that one. But anywho, so we didn't really have. Yeah, just let your facial expressions digest the fact that that was unnecessary.
It's the
Um,
cervezas.
so Um, we didn't really have like Easter bunny visits. Like we would see people with like Easter bunny stuffed animals and stuff, but it wasn't like a creepy dude was coming around in a foam head or nothing like that. And
No.
we didn't like go take pictures. We never really took pictures with Santa either, but we didn't like go take
Yeah.
pictures with the Easter bunny like a family would either. Like we like the Easter bunny. Also, as a kid, the Easter Bunny didn't bring us treats either. Like our mom would give us treats, like our parents would bring us like give us things, but like they always told us it was from us. They never were like, "Oh, the Easter Bunny brought you this," right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that just like this part of it just wasn't something for us. Like we understood Easter Bunny eggs up until probably 3 minutes ago. We didn't understand why that was the case, right? But Katie, since we've been together, even before children, was like, "Hey, it's Easter. We need to build a nest so that the Easter bunny will bring you gifts in your nest, not eggs, but like gifts." And I was like, "We are grown ass fucking people. I'm not putting grass in the corner of my apartment for you to put gifts in it." And this is what I thought originally. But then, like the first year, I got like an igloo cooler and like a pint of whiskey, and I was like, "Holy shit! I'll build a nest anywhere, right? I'm
The
in."
Easter Bunny
And
rocks, bro. He gets it.
he's fucking killing it. Like, how did he know my t-shirt size? Anyways, all that being said, I think this was her like approach to like getting me more involved with Easter. Even though I loved it before that, I liked it as a kid, but like
Mhm.
the same thing the Germans did with their children with the Osterhaus and the Osterhaus to bring them the egg, because the egg was probably a delicacy back then, let's be honest, but like to bring them eggs and be super pumped to build this nest and give eggs. She was doing the same thing, but to like a, middle class cultured individual who wanted cheap whiskey and maybe a Nintendo game at that point. I don't know. But we
Yeah.
still do it for our kids. So like they have nests built right now. Like they have nests that are built, and we have all kinds of goodies that we're gonna put in them. and they will celebrate them in the morning, and it's like I know I just talked about it's not about gift giving, and it's not, because the gifts that you get are like something that you would pick up for yourself, like
Hmm.
a candy bar and like a towel, or like I said, a pint of whiskey, and like they're not things that you have to like think about and you want people to win. It's just like, here's these extra things that I got. So up until now, I never respected why we did that. I was like, this is outrage. Like, this is ridiculous. But now I guess it kind of makes sense. It's part of the tradition.
I just thought you tried to shorten the word outrageous to try to be like hip and cool, and then I realized that outrage is actually a word in itself.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
you know, like that's so outrage, bruh.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody remembers, like a couple of minutes ago, you can back it up when you tried to talk about your aim when we were hunting eggs. That was a lot
It
more
was good,
inappropriate.
bro. It was good.
I mean, that seems more far fetched than outrage as an abbreviation. I don't do
Well,
word abbreviations, but
listen, we never did the Easter nest thing, but it sounds pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds like
it's
a
killer.
cool little fun thing. It does introduce gift giving, but I don't think it's not the core of the holiday, right? Like
No.
because like your Valentine's Day and your Christmas obviously is all like rooted, like the whole reason a lot of people celebrate it is for the gift giving, and Easter's
Well,
not like that.
the other thing too is like sometimes it's things that like maybe you want or that you need sometimes,
Like
like
some new undies or something.
yeah, or like it's some I don't, I'm just using this as an example, but like towels. Somebody one year got some I don't remember who it was, but we like went to their house early Easter morning and their nests were still out and they had towels in it. I was like, that's fucking weird flex, Easter bunny. But he was like, no, I really want some new towels. So that's one of them. But like also too, like we've done this, like I've just like you'll get up and there's just a cup of coffee in it. And you're like, oh, that's chill.
Hell yeah.
I say there's just a cup of coffee in it, like the Easter bunny put a cup of coffee there.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's just what it is. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like in the moment, you're like, it's the same cup of coffee I would have made for myself. In fact, I probably did make it. Okay.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's like, oh, but it's in the nest. Like this is how you start your day. And you're thankful because that cup's there. And you're like, hell yeah, that's a gift. And so maybe it's a realization that like there's a bunch of things in life, especially during the holiday season, that you should be thankful for and really appreciate. And it's kind of a reminder of that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool.
I made fun of it for like at least 7 years, even when I was getting killer shit, you know?
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, whoever was building a nest next to me that I was in charge of filling was getting just straight trash, but you know, it is what it is. They didn't care because it's Easter. It's not like Christmas or your birthday or an anniversary or something.
Right. But here's my question is we have songs and stuff that say how Santa Claus is keeping tabs on you, right? He's making a list,
Mhm.
checking it twice, gonna find
Yeah.
out if you're naughty or nice, right? And that whole idea of Santa like keeping tabs on you or whatever is a little creepy in and of itself. But can you imagine if it was a bunny instead?
Yeah.
It's so much creepier, dude. It's so much creepier. Just a hind end walking or hind legs walking bunny
Dude,
creeping
brings
on
me
you.
to brings me to a really good point though. If in fact the Easter Bunny, which I think somebody could, you could play that up with your kids, if the Easter Bunny was in fact keeping tabs on you, how easy would it be to let your kids know that like, hey, he's watching? Because like with Santa, I mean, you know, obviously they have the elf, like you always they sing the songs, they tell you, hey, Santa's watching, but really until December comes around, nobody's paying attention. But if I were just to take like 3 or 4 like licorice um uh jelly beans or like some rabbit poo and just put it outside their door, like in May, or like let's say like in November, and they'd be like, oh my god, what is this? And I'm like, it's rabbit poo. Obviously he came and checked on you, you got a bad attitude, but he's here. Like this is evidence that he's here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't just put a fake human turd on the front porch and say,
No, and be like, Santa was out here and he's pissed. Yeah. Santa took a dump on the porch because you can't finish your green beans. Like that's not how this is gonna work.
Oh, dude. Oh my god.
But with the Easter bunny, we could, and I think we should
Ah,
utilize that a lot
shit.
more.
Oh shit. Oh my god, dude. Could you,
Hey, oh shit is right. You know what I'm
dude, could
saying?
you imagine the trauma that would
Just let the
Man,
kids into
dude.
the.
Oh
Why is
god, going to school the next day, bro, and being like, "How was your weekend, Samantha?" Well, Santa Claus took
I found a candy cane on the lid of the toilet, and Santa left an upper decker in our guest bathroom just because he was pissed. Oh shit! I maybe we're just
Oh
not
my
utilizing it as much as we should, but I feel you though. If it,
Why
you
would
know,
Santa take a dump in the top of my toilet, dude? Oh my god.
because
Oh.
I've been bringing home C's for a whole semester. That's why.
Oh. Oh, my eyes
I
are
mean, it just.
burning.
I mean, I think to your point, I think that's how my mind went. You know, I think I could do it a lot easier with a rabbit. It would be a lot. It would have probably a lot more of an impact if it was Santa Claus. You know, but
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh.
anyways, that would
And
be a unique Easter practice.
and all of the bunnies that you see outside are his minions that are keeping tabs on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be done for sure. I mean, we all know
Uh,
what the best egg is on Easter, though, right?
oh yeah. Without a doubt. Most folks are gonna be like, "Oh, is it the Cadbury egg? Is it those or those little? You know, I do kind of like them, but the gum ones, you know, the gums that come in the
Oh
12
yeah, yeah,
pack.
yeah. Those are actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Well, they're
but
fun. They lose flavor
yeah,
quick, but
yeah.
yeah.
By the way, it's not the Cadbury. It's the Reese's egg. It's the
Hmm.
best. First off, I don't know why year round the Reese's doesn't taste like that. It's far superior to the regular Reese's.
Yeah, the
I know
regular
at
Reese's
Christmas,
is too crunchy.
dude. Yeah,
The rim
I
is
know.
too tough.
And I know at Christmas, like they've come out with the trees. I know people are gonna call bullshit on this, but like the shape does fucking matter. I
It
think
does.
the egg, and maybe there's like a scientific reason or like a I don't want to say chemical, but like maybe there is like a legitimate reason why the egg tastes better, but it does. It's not like the tree. Thanks for coming out. Like we appreciate. It's not the regular Reese's during that season. I get it.
I think it's a
Um,
ratio per bite thing.
it has to be.
I
It's the
think that the
density of the peanut butter to the distribution of chocolate.
I think the closest thing is, and I don't even know if they still do this or not, but the closest thing that comes to the Reese's egg is the pumpkin. Do they still do the pumpkin?
Oh shit! Yeah, they do the pumpkin, but I still think the egg's better.
Yeah,
And some of that, you know,
I still
I'll
think
be
the egg's
honest.
better.
Some of it could be in my mind. I don't know. You know.
I don't know. I agree though. I think the egg is the best option.
But yeah,
The tree the tree is better than a regular Reese's still, but
yeah, one hundred
it
percent.
doesn't touch the egg though.
I'm gonna go egg first. Then I forgot about it. I apologize. I'm gonna go egg first. Then I'm gonna go pumpkin. Then I'm gonna go tree. They're all the
Hmm.
best for their season compared to the regular Reese's,
Yeah.
but they're the egg superior. Which brings me to my next point. If you'll notice, I pronounced it Reese's because there's a weird bit of the population out there that calls it a Reese's. Which it, you know, if we think the Easter Bunny is fictional, so is the fucking pronunciation of Reese's. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know who started that, who was the first person to say Reese's, and why so many people caught on to the fact that maybe that's actually what it's called, because there's no way in hell that's what it's called.
Okay, first off, it's possessive. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just wrap our minds around that for a second. So that means that there's something or some person named Reese. And so you start both words Reese, okay? And so Reese's, it's possessive, Reese's. It's of Reese. You don't
Yes.
say it's Reese's, it's Reese's. No. That's not how that works. To
Yeah.
which yeah, I would say, you know, again, if we had some massive audience, I would say go ahead and like leave in the comments like which way you pronounce it. But first off, you're gonna fucking spell it Reese's because there's no other way to say it. And secondly, I don't give a shit what you comment; it's irrelevant because it's called Reese's.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just
But
the way I think about it.
this brings me to my point is they created an alternate version of the Reese's, right? In M&M form, basically called what? Reese's
Reese's
Pieces.
Pieces or Reese's Pieces.
No, makes no sense for it to be Reese's. And this is what makes me even more mad is when people call them Reese's Pieces.
Pieces, yeah.
Because that makes absolutely zero sense.
I
Don't know
think
how
if
you
you're
even think that's correct.
yeah, if you're having to bend the second word to fulfill the
Mhm.
prophecy of how you pronounce the first word, then that's a good indicator that the first word is bullshit to begin with, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
It's not Randallese. It's Randall's.
Also, yes, that's correct. That's correct. Also, I will confirm that. Also, I don't know if you've seen a commercial as of late, but
Mhm.
definitely using Reese's there. And if there's anything we should go off of, it's the people that created it, right?
Yeah, or the spokesperson. Who's the spokesperson guy? Will Arnett.
Will Arnett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know he's not going to lie. He was Batman. Well,
What?
Lego Batman, but he was Batman still.
Oh God, dude, you had me for there for a second. Not that I care about the Batman series, but like I missed the whole thing where he was there. All I can ever think about is uh what's the one with
Hot Rod?
Arrested Development.
Oh, dude, yeah, he's incredible in that. That's a
Well, he's
great show.
incredible in anything, but yeah.
Yeah, so
So
it's
that
definitely Reese's.
it's
Reese's.
definitely Reese's.
No, there's no debate. Anyone that says there's a debate is wrong. Your anti-fact is a lie.
Yeah.
Um,
That's probably the realest, truest definition of an alternative fact right there.
yeah,
Is somebody
it's
that calls it a Reese's.
yeah, but it's not a fact. It's the opposite of that. It's not an opinion either because if you hold that opinion, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're just
No
incorrect at that
argument
point.
here. I don't know if you want. I don't know. You're like looking at me to try to be the devil's advocate here, but I can't be that. I cannot be the devil's advocate in this
No, yeah,
conversation.
yeah. It's hard when
There's
we agree
no
on stuff.
support.
It's hard when we agree on stuff. You know.
I mean, this one's pretty shut and closed.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I am thankful that that is seasonally something that we get. Also, what I like about it is like occasionally we'll pick up some after like Monday. I guarantee you, Monday or Tuesday of next week, Katie will snag like a surplus of leftover Reese's eggs. And so it'll be like July, and I'll be like, oh, hell yeah. And they're still, and they're like right there on the edge of their life. I don't know. I'm sure the shelf life on them is like a decade, but they'll be right there they got a short shelf life in my house. But, anyways, they'll be right on the edge of their life. And I just go and I murder one, and I'm like, as soon as I put it in, I'm like, this is gonna have to hold me over. Like I'm not gonna experience this again until we get to what is it like mid March? They start putting them out probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you refrigerate yours or you just keep them room temp on the shelf?
So I have two trains of thought here. I like them a little, and maybe this goes back to what I said. Sometimes they would put them inside eggs. You know what I'm saying? Like you would get a Reese's egg inside of like a plastic egg,
Yeah.
or a lot of times, they would just be out on the counter, and like there was what?
They're I'm just now making the connection in my head that they're the perfect shape for an egg. I don't know why my brain never computed that as a child when I received it in an egg, but like whatever. Anyways,
Well,
continue. Sorry.
listen, I hate to call attention to this, but for those of you guys who didn't think that an egg could fit inside of an egg, we're gonna pause right here for just a little moment of silence.
I just never thought about it like that. That's the thing. Like obviously an egg fits in an egg. I just never thought about even though I received one in an egg, I've never thought about myself putting one in an egg. I don't know why.
Yeah, it basically fits in there perfectly,
It's
like it was
almost
designed to. It's
it's
fucking
almost like
crazy.
a circle fitting inside a circle.
Yeah, it's an odd concept, but for those of you that
It's
struggle
weird.
with that, just back the tape up and maybe listen to how it works. But anyways, so there's that. But also, dude, like some of them would be on the counter. Uh,
Hmm.
and they would just, it was. I'm not gonna say it was hot inside grandma's house or whatever, but like it wasn't like cold by any means. And so they would kind of again, it was
The
all everything
AC
was
wasn't
sweating.
on.
No, no, no. So it'd be sweating a little bit in the package,
Oh
so it
yeah.
wouldn't melt, but it would damn near just it would be right at the point where it was going to dissolve at any moment.
Yeah.
So I like
It
that fresh out of the egg.
it's like when you
And
touch it, but and the chocolate is getting on your fingers.
oh, you got to be quick. Like
Yeah.
literally, you gotta split the package and toss her in, and you're
It
gonna have
almost
some
kind of
residue.
slips in. It
Oh yeah,
slips into your mouth. Then there's chocolate on your lips.
you're gonna have residue, right? I like
Hmm.
that version just because it's warm. It's a great eating experience, and that's how I was getting them, straight out of the egg or straight off the counter or whatever the case might have been. However, after the fact, like when we go get a shitload of them on Monday or Tuesday, I'm gonna take a whole 2 bags and throw them in the fridge. I don't like them freezer. Katie likes them freezer. She wants them to like be biteable, but I'll
Mm.
take a whole bag or two and I'll put them in the crisper. All right. Because let's be honest, there's only two things that go in the crisper. It's vegetables that go to die and Reese's eggs. Okay. So I'll put some in the crisper just so they stay firm, but I'll eat them with coffee.
Oh,
I'll
you
do
dip
one
them
at
in the
night
coffee,
before.
or you just eat them on
No,
the side.
yeah, you can't really dip them because they do. They go from refrigerated to worse than countertop instantly.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, no, I'll eat them on the side when I'm drinking a cup of coffee. Or I know this sounds terrible, but like you get done with the shower, you're ready for bedtime. You wander into the kitchen to fill your cup of water or whatever. I'll slide one in.
Yeah, I can get on that. If I'm eating like just the Reese's, I like. I mean, I like them just straight up room temp, honestly. But if I'm eating just the Reese's, I prefer them out of the fridge rather than the freezer. However, as of late, I've been hooked on this HEB brand ice cream that
Oh,
is
is it Reese's?
it's Reese's, dude.
Is it a
I've
creamy
been
creation?
Yes, it is.
Hell yeah. Okay.
And it's incredible. It's like it's my heroin. I've been hooked on it. I can't stop.
My quick question is, does it have like little bitty Reese's cups in it, or are they all kind of ground up, or is it both?
It's little ground up mini Reese's. That's the only
And
thing.
dude, that's fine. That's the key. So
But there are
it's
sometimes there are some bigger chunks, but
oh, I didn't mean
it is the mini Reese's.
I know we've kind of like dedicated this episode to like Cerveza and then Reese's or whatever, like the bulk of it. But I will say this, dude, it's very interesting that you just made me think of something. Reese's egg number one, and then you can go to the separate seasonal holiday iterations, like I said before, right?
Hmm.
Pumpkin and the Christmas. But honestly, I don't even like the regular. Like if I'm not doing a Reese's egg, I don't even want the regular Reese's. I want the little Reese's cup, not the baby ones, but the smaller cups, like the Halloween ones. That's what I kind of consider them.
Hmm.
Before they made the pumpkin, they made the little Reese's cup.
Yeah.
Not the big cup, but the deeper cup. It's like a deeper, smaller cup
Yeah, it's a bite
as
size
opposed to
one, really.
yeah, bite size. So
Yeah.
I basically go Reese's egg, and then I go, obviously pumpkin, Christmas tree, whatever. And then after that, I don't even want a regular Reese's. I want the Reese's cups, like
Hmm.
the bite size.
I agree. I think I
And I
agree.
know that it makes no sense because of our argument for why we like the egg, because like the volume of peanut butter powder fudge to chocolate is greater, and in the mini or in the bite size, the chocolate's even greater. But I don't know why. It just I don't know.
I don't know. It's
There's
probably
like a
more of a nostalgia thing.
maybe there's like a scale of diminishing return of the peanut butter paste versus chocolate. Like you
Yeah.
get all like if it's high, you're like hell yeah. But then there's a point where you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. I'm not into
Well,
that. And then you're like, now the chocolate's up. Fuck it, I'm in.
I
I don't
think
know.
it's also like the ease of eatability, the ease of eatability. I'm trying to, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll come up with that together. But go ahead.
How easy it is to eat, basically, because you can throw the egg in your mouth one bite. You can't. I mean, it's a mouthful, but you can.
No,
It's
well, I mean, I do it all the time, but yeah.
well, I mean, I mean, I do it all the time, yeah. But it is. I mean, it's a big bite, but you can do it. With a regular peanut butter cup, I think there's more.
Yeah, you're right.
And so it's harder to do that. So you're almost forced to take a bite and then hold it and take another bite. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
with the other ones, you just unwrap it and pop it in and you're good.
Yeah, we're gonna call it eastability.
Yeah.
It's the eastability.
Yeah.
Ease plus eat. It's
Yeah.
eastability.
Plus Easter in this case, you
Wow,
know?
look at you. You look at you totally redeem yourself from the hunting comment earlier.
I can do it sometimes.
He's back on top, ladies and gents. At least he's, playing scratch golf at this point.
Yeah. Well, as much as I do enjoy talking about Easter and Reese's and everything with you, we do need to get on to the WWYBD for this
In
beer.
it. Mine's easy, but you can go first. You normally go first, and mine's kind of outlandish, but
Okay.
not outlandish. But I'm gonna say so again. Mexican cerveza. So there's all the things we talked about. We talked seasonally about Easter. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, slightly. It is seasonal related, but this beer to me, outside of, I don't want to break into what I think that you're gonna say because I have a hint. Phenomenal cerveza. It's what I want out of a can. Smell, taste, excitement, everything. This to me is a crawfish beer.
Oh,
If I'm sitting at a table and I'm eating crawfish, I'm murdering crawfish, okay? Whether it's spicy, whether it's under flavored, and you're just trying to be respectful of who you're bumming the sack off of, you guys can do with that out of context whatever you want. Crawfish season is where I see I'm eating this. I mean, where I'm drinking this. I'm sitting at a table, I'm murdering tails, and I'm washing them down with this because it's extremely flavorful. The temperature's starting to change. Everybody's getting sticky and uncomfortable as they're outside, plus they're around a boil. Extreme flavor when you're consuming it on the food front demands extreme flavor in a beer. So, crawfish season. This is washing down my crawfish.
I bet this would also be a great palate cleanser for crawfish. Like the
Yeah,
spice of a crawfish, it would really
dude,
help that.
it's going to neutralize the intensity of that, but you don't suffer through like generic water beer. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
It's the
good.
best of all worlds.
That's good. I As soon as you said that, I pictured myself doing it. That's good.
Yep. Phenomenal.
Mine's not that good. It's gonna sound a little bit maybe stereotypical, but I this is like for me specifically in this case, we go over to our neighbors who are Hispanic,
Yep.
and this is what I'm bringing, and we're going to watch the boxing match. That's what it is. It's like but
Nice.
it's like a boxing slash UFC like at home beer, not like a out watching it beer, but like you're at home or like at your friend's house or in our case, basically family's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, you bring this
I would,
along to watch some people beat the hell out of each other. That's what I think of.
this doesn't make sense. I mean, obviously, when you're speaking of them, I'm familiar with them and very familiar with them. But it's like a communal beer, but more comfort than that. It's not like this isn't like when you go over there and you celebrate a boxing match, or you don't celebrate. You're there all the time, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
there doing a celebration of maybe friendship every couple of days, right?
Right.
But like you're so comfortable with them as family that it's something that you would bring that everyone would enjoy, right? It's not a beer
Yes.
that like you have to bring to a new group of people. It's something that you're comfortable drinking around people that you're with all the time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Also, this is a beer though that I would bring just in general. This is a little bit different, but I would bring the like a 6 pack of this to some buddies and they'd be like, "Oh man, is that good?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, it is, but you can't have any because they're mine."
Yeah. This one is very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Which
Surprisingly good.
which brings me to my ratings, right?
Go
Let's
ahead.
get into this.
Kill it.
Um man, it's it's pretty hard for me to just not give this almost a perfect score. I have been blown away. At entry, I have it as a 5. Uh, I really can't say why it's not a 6. I just feel like maybe I need to wait for something to hopefully be better. Aftertaste, I think it's perfect. It's a 6. Body, the flavor is perfect for me. It's a 6. It's it's perfect in the sense that like wow, a craft brewery made this. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's delicious. Color 6. You poured it. It looked awesome. Had a great head on it. Bitterness, I do have it at a 5. It's pretty spot on for me, but maybe could be a little bit more bitter, just a little bit more.
Yep.
Uh, Acidity, a 5 again. That one's really just kind of holding out hope that there's
Yep.
maybe something a little bit better. Fizz, I listen. The burps haven't been great for me. I,
Yeah.
they've tasted great, but I haven't had a lot of them like I expected. But I gave it a 5 because I'm pretty sure that has to do with the fact that I ate dinner like 40 minutes before we started recording.
Okay.
So, and I had a lot of bread and potato. So I'm pretty sure that the beer has just been getting soaked up by that, and I haven't been burping as much from that. So give it a 5. Anyways, that brings my total score to a 38, which is
Ooh.
very damn near close to a perfect score.
Yeah, so I probably one of the higher scores. This one's, I mean, again, I know it's all based on the type of beer, but one of the higher scores for me. I have, and I did actually come back and adjust one of the elements that I started with. But entry, I have you know how hard it is for me to give anything a perfect score. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, it did get one perfect score in one category, but entry has a 5. Like the only thing I wish is in the glass, it would have had a little more aroma on the nose, bringing it in. The can was perfect as far as Cerveza, but in a glass, maybe once it aerated and it kind of breathed a little bit, I didn't get that. But anyways, entry, I got a 5. Aftertaste, I have a 5. That fucker was consistent, solid, start to finish. Body, I have a 5. Again, nothing to complain about. Color has a 6. This is what I look for in a cerveza. It has that dark morning after urine tinge. The way that the foam sits in the glass, I'll see how you see how it connects to the side of the glass, but also stays prevalent on the top, whether it's
It's
cold or it's hot.
yeah.
Yep. Color. Bitterness, I have a 4. I kind of had the same mindset you had. There's probably something out there that, whatever. Acidity, same thing. There's probably a little bit of a peak. I've got a 5 there. Fizz, I do have a 4. I had a lot of burps out front, all enjoyable, all great. The probably past entire can, I've yet to have one, and so my belt just starting to settle. That's the only thing
Mm,
that makes the difference between a 4 and a 5. But that gives me a total of 34.
okay.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was, obviously comparatively, this was the second highest beer rating we've had.
also too, I
Uh,
was kind of
uh
shocked because we
yeah.
kind of we kind of picked this one up in passing because we had mentioned. I mean, it's been probably 2 months since I was like, "Hey, we should do Cerveza or whatever," and you're like, "Oh yeah, I've seen it." Like, we should do. We were like, we'll get around to it. How great can it be? Nothing against Karbach. We were like, how great can it be?
I know we were very excited to try it. We just have, hadn't seen it boxed in a store,
I had
so
seen
I
it a
hadn't
couple of
grabbed
times.
it.
I had seen it a couple of times. I just didn't think it would be this good. I thought it would be something that we drank and we're like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but I didn't think it would be
Well,
something that like I want to go back and get more now, like
yeah,
ASAP.
yeah. This is the second time Carbach has done this to me, where I have had my expectations low taste wise, and they've blown me away both times. So they're 2 for 2 on that category.
Yep.
Actually, technically, I could say 3 for 3 because the Weekend Warrior that we did, I had not low expectations, but I didn't expect it to be as good as I thought it was. So
I wasn't as blown away at this one. I mean, I wasn't as blown away at that one as I have been with pretty much everything else that's in their arsenal.
yeah, I can agree. This is incredible. 100% will be buying more of this. I will be drinking my last one tomorrow at Easter. But
Yeah, the
it's
good news is
tomorrow for us, but it will be 5 days in the past when you're listening. So,
you will know that we have enjoyed them all.
yeah.
But also too, this isn't a seasonal thing the way I understand it either. Too, this is a full standing, long standing. Like this runs. Yeah, this isn't
Oh,
seasonal.
okay. This, you
This
know
is
what? This is one that I could drink year round, I think.
honest. Yeah. Again, I don't want to like just stamp my. I know we're trying to wrap it up, and God forbid I not be long winded, but I would say for me, this runs number 2, maybe number 3. I would say probably number 2 in the entire Carbach uh, repository.
Mm.
Obviously, I go Crawford first. Love Streak, and this one can battle it out for second and third. That's how great it is.
I agree. I agree. All right. Well, we have gotten to that point of the podcast where I'm going to tell you to go follow us on social media on Twitter and TikTok at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
And as history will repeat itself, we will close with a volume of a poem for this week. Cerveza has become synonymous with enjoying beach elements, smooth, refreshing, drinkable to boot, suave in its presentation, powerful in its promotion of well-being, and capable of keeping the party of another life flaming within those that consume. Cerveza always makes one want to say, drink responsibly?